Preacher Boy.
My thoughts on this whole Roe v. Wade thing is like how I feel about everything else in the world. I mind my own business.
Gutta And Saved, they can't stand me.
Hey, if you disagree with anything I stand on, if you feel the need to correct me on anything I stand on, here's your chance to rebuttal me. Call into the Rebuttal Live Show, 678-249-9297. Rebuttal me, correct me, hold me accountable. But you better come correct, because you best believe I am. I'm neither pro-life or pro-choice, because a true follower of Christ wouldn't even think about getting an abortion. Now, listen, the key word here was true follower of Christ. Now, side note, if a mother's life is in jeopardy because of the pregnancy, or the woman is raped or is incest, hey, what you choose to do at that point is your decision. I don't think no government or no man should tell you what to do if those were the issues. A pregnancy that's that's having complications, or if someone was raped or some type of incest was involved. Now, I'm gonna go briefly into the statistics, and I don't want to get too deep into all of it because, quite frankly, people don't really care about the statistics. You can go on the Planned Parenthood website, you can go on the CDC website. It says rape victims are 1% of abortions that come through America, and like 0.5% of them is due to incest, and like 0.7% is due to complications due to the pregnancy. Now, that's still a lot of women when you think about, they say like 60 or 70 million kids that was aborted. That's still a lot of women that's been raped. That's still a lot of women that have, complications due to pregnancy. It's still a lot of women, due to incest. But those numbers don't come close to all the women that's having abortions, recreationally, for the lack of better words.
Negativity can be like an addiction.
Which leads to my next point. This hookup culture got the game all messed up, man. You dudes are going raw diggity in these chicks, and you chicks allowing these dudes to shoot up your club. She get pregnant, and, she get an abortion, and then repeat the cycle all over again. Man, listen, I saw this chick on TikTok, man, and she said that she have at least 2 abortions a year, and she lost track of how many times she took Plan B.
I said, what the hell?
Man, at this point, I know her insides is all tore up. But anyway, see, the problem with this hookup culture is these youngins has parallel random sex encounters with having a good time. But listen, y'all need to protect yourselves, real rap, especially women. I expect all this stuff from men. We know, men are horn dogs, especially when we in our 20s and teens and stuff like that. Look, to keep it 100, us men, when we are in our teens and 20s, we trying to hump everything moving. That's just the way it is. But boy, times has changed. It used to be you had to work hard to get a woman, let alone get into her drawers. But it seems like now all you gotta be is a scammer, a dope dealer, or up-and-coming rapper. Because we know y'all chicks love the bad guys. Y'all love the Futures of the world, but y'all shame the Russell Wilsons of the world. But for those who want to know whether I believe abortion is murder or not, I'm gonna tell you like this. Yes, I believe abortion is murder. And I also believe science is real too when it says, that is just an embryo full of cells. I'm gonna put that on the floor. I do believe that too. However, everything starts off as a seed. A seed grows into something. When you see a apple seed, right? It's an apple seed. Eventually, that apple seed is going to grow into an apple tree, which is going to produce apples. Is this seed, that seed right there, is it less than an apple? Yes, it's a seed, but once it's planted, it grows into an apple tree. Now, listen here. Yes, a fetus in its early weeks is an embryo. But we got to also know that two things can be right at the same time. A fetus is a baby. Question: when you take a pregnancy test, right, are you expecting an embryo or a baby? A baby starts off as an embryo because we all know that everything starts from somewhere. Everything has a start process and a growth process. But eventually that embryo grows into what? A baby. You're correct. Now, to say that embryo is something less than a human growing in someone's body, you're delusional. You're out of your mind. Would you put adult expectations on a toddler? No. Why? Because the toddler is still growing. The toddler is still in process. But I forgot. I'm talking to a bunch of folk who still think kids can choose their gender and kids can choose what they want for dinner every night. And I also forgot, I'm talking to a bunch of people who say, Reese, you believe in the Bible, but it was written by man. Yes, I believe in the scriptures. I live by the laws in the scriptures. But yo, you do too. You forgot the Constitution and the federal laws was written by man? And now y'all out here fighting over man-made laws to be upheld and overturned, and y'all fighting for y'all rights that was written by your man? It's safe to say then, your God is a man, because y'all looking for a man to set a bunch of rules to legislate morality for y'all to feel like y'all free. I tell you. Listen, I'm wise enough to believe in divine intervention. I'm wise enough to know that a man is not my savior. You know, a man ain't coming to the rescue with a bunch of laws and a bunch of legislation that's gonna make everything better. I know we need divine intervention. So yes, I'm looking forward to Christ coming back to turn over this whole system, because a man ain't gonna do it. And you, them, and they ain't strong enough to overturn this government. Y'all gonna stand up against the military if they institute martial law? Like, what y'all gonna do? You know, they got the military, they got drones, they got, you know what, never mind. My mom had me in the middle of a crack and AIDS epidemic. She also had a partial hysterectomy, and my dad wasn't around. They was trying to force abortion on her, and you know what? She probably had every right to have an abortion because her life was at risk, but she didn't. And now look at all this melanated chocolate that she produced. But all jokes aside though, outside of complications in the pregnancy, rape, really, why is abortion an option? Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't want a kid because you're not ready to have a kid. Well, okay, get on birth control. Now, I know some ignorant gonna come on here and say, well, birth control isn't always effective. Listen here, it's effective more than it isn't effective. I'm gonna say that again. It's effective more than it isn't effective. And I'm gonna come with some statistics right now. According to PlannedParenthood.com, it says if you use birth control perfectly, the pill is 99% effective. But people aren't perfect. It is easy to forget or miss pills. So in reality, the pill is 91% effective. That means 9 out of 100 pill users get pregnant each year. Now, that's just talking about the pill. Go read that whole article and it breaks down them all. I ain't gonna break them down them all. But if it's important to you, you'll read it, you know, because there's other contraceptives out there that works a little bit better than taking a pill. Now, I'm not here to tell no woman what to do with her body. What you do with your body is your choice. And yes, I don't believe the government should have any say-so in what a woman should do with her body. I don't have to tell you that there's consequences in everything. You know, there's consequences in having unprotected sex. And one of the consequences is, unfortunately, you getting pregnant when it's not planned. But that shouldn't be your only reason to take birth control or practice safe sex, because STDs is still in the full effect. As a matter of fact, they said in 2019 up into current, Black women have been getting HIV and AIDS at a rate they haven't seen since the 90s. Y'all go look that up on the CDC stats too. That's scary too. That's very scary. And real rap, I have a personal gripe with the whole abortion thing, because I know the damage it did to the Black community under the guidelines of healthcare. It's very important to know how Margaret Sanger and the American government colluded to put Planned Parenthood and the Black community to exterminate Black people. In fact, this is what Margaret Sanger had to say. Colored people are like human weeds and need to be exterminated. That was a quote from the person who started Planned Parenthood, put it in the communities under the guidelines of healthcare, and y'all expect us to trust them? Now, yes, they have came out and said they don't agree. Planned Parenthood is now saying they don't agree with the practices Margaret Sanger, her views and all that stuff, but she started the company. That's y'all founder. How can y'all now try to clean up what she said and she's y'all founder? No, all y'all trying to do is put a bunch of sugar on a bunch of mess and expect us to eat it. No. But what's blowing my mind is these liberals somehow convinced Black women that abortion is a woman's health care right and they need to stand up and fight for all women's rights. Sisters, hear me out. Black men and women never had rights in America. We only have privileges, and those privileges are subjective. That's why when you see Colin Kaepernick taking a knee and Dr. Martin Luther King marches and the civil rights and all that stuff, anytime a Black person try to stand up for our so-called rights, they try to tell us to leave or shut up and be grateful that we have the privileges we have in America. Well, that they allow us to have in America. So yeah, we don't have rights. We have subjective privileges. They allowed us to play in the NFL. They allow us to play in the NBA. They allow us to play their games, and they allow us to be in their businesses as long as we stay in our place. That's why Laura Ingraham can say this about LeBron James: shut up and dribble.
Or as someone once said, shut up and dribble. Shut up and dribble.
But anyway, y'all, check out these two educational videos. Please check them out and don't click off yet. Check out these videos and look and see what they had to say.
In August of 2021, the United States Census shows that white people are losing their numerical majority in this country. While on September 1st, 2021, the Supreme Court refused to block a Texas law that bans abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. Here's how they're related. On March 2nd, 1973, the New York Times publishes an article stating that the U.S. birth rate has dropped to a record low. They called it the birth dearth or the baby bust. They even go on to mention that this is happening in other industrialized countries. They understood that a decline in births, even in Europe, meant a decline in their numerical majority. So something had to be done in order to maintain their numerical majority. So in 1971, they began to attack abortions. At that time, 60% of all abortions were white, which is where Roe v. Wade comes in. In an attempt to maintain numerical majority, in December of 1971, they argued that abortions should be illegal. They re-argued it again in October of 72. And then on January 22, 1973, they made a decision. The courts ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. At that moment, the fight to overturn Roe v. Wade began. But why? They knew that if a constitutional amendment overturned Roe v. Wade, they could expect an 11% rise in fertility rates and maintain their numerical majority. In 1979, a full 6 years after Roe v. Wade, at the behest of Paul Weyrich, Jerry Falwell and the evangelicals got involved. The reason behind it was simple. Being against abortion was more palatable than protecting segregated schools. Fast forward to 2010, and you notice a decline in white populations in all 50 states. This wasn't expected to happen until 2024. And it's most profound in populations under the age of 25. So what does that have to do with the Supreme Court's recent upholding of Texas's abortion law? It now puts Roe v. Wade back on the Supreme Court's docket, where we now have 5 conservative Supreme Court justices, 3 of whom were appointed by the 45th president. There are 3 liberal judges and 1 in the middle. If this new conservative Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, we could expect an 11% rise in fertility rates, as well as an additional 440 births per year. The fight against abortion isn't a religious or moral one, but rather a fight to maintain numerical majority and maintain power in this country. Somebody asked, why is everything about race?
Hey man, I thank y'all for rocking out with me. It's your boy, Mr. Gas, aka King Rebuttal. I'm going to need y'all to click that like and that subscribe button, man, and that bell for notification to stay plugged in with your boy, man. And oh man, be sure to check out the Rebuttal Live, man. This episode of Gutta and Saved was brought to you by Pharaoh Hair Experience, located in Philadelphia, PA. If you want to experience the royal hair treatment and you're in the Philadelphia and surrounding areas, be sure to go to hairpharaoh.as.me/schedule, or you could just call for your appointment 267-262-4655. Also, you could check out Pharaoh Hair _experience on Instagram for all info, for all styles, for the Pharaoh Hair Experience. If you're a gutter and you're definitely a saint, don't be afraid to let the world know. Go to gasmerch.com. gasmerch.com and check out all our exclusive sweatshirts, t-shirts for men and women of all sizes. gasmerch.com, exclusive, innovative, and the hottest merch thus far. gasmerch.com. It's your boy Reese Johnson. This is the Gutta and Saved podcast. You already know they can't stand me. I stay dropping the facts. I stay bringing the truth. And if it's in the headlines, I'm bringing it to you, man. I really appreciate y'all for rocking out with me, and I holla at y'all on the flip. Peace.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.